Promotions are policy. First calls are trust. Most leadership goals die because you set them once and forget them. The best growth strategy for a leader is to teach faster than you can hoard. If you focus on making people a better person, they'll run off a cliff for you professionally. Out of everyone he texted, he's like, man, I had to text you before I texted my mom. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast, Conversations That Count. This week, we're joined with a very special guest, my handy dandy notebook. We're going to go over Tuesday's episode with Ace that we pulled from the vault that still had 8 amazing frameworks inside of it. We're going to go down each one. We're going to use each framework to improve our lives, make them better, and grow as we always do. So let's get my notebook set up here. And starting with framework 1, we're also going to partly use my computer. Part notebook, part computer, whatever. But framework 1, the slot machine. A quote from Ace: whatever you want to accomplish in your life, make it a slot machine. Same way you go to the casino, you can just keep pulling the lever. And it's little by little, either they're eating your money or they're giving you money, right? One or the other. The idea is whatever you need to put in your mind, put it in your visual environment so often that you can't forget it. Vegas never tricks people into gambling. They surround people with slot machines until playing feels inevitable. The best thing you can do is you can set little reminders. Maybe it's on your desk, maybe it's in your car, maybe it's in your room, it's in your office, wherever. But you set these constant little reminders, checking in with yourself, pushing you to accomplish the goal so that you can never forget it. Again, you make it so that your goals are inevitable and that they can be accomplished. So a good example, whether that is using a whiteboard in the gym in order to figure out what you need to do, or it's writing down your goals every morning. It's what would this person I really respect do? Or the person who's where I want to be, what would they do? And asking yourself that every morning, creating constant slot machines. So, framework 2, the flow state audit. The flow state is when you wake up and you're happy to do whatever needs to be done. It's when you're ready to go accomplish whatever the goal is and you're fired up for it. You're in a state of flow. Now, this isn't a personality type, right? It's a state you can audit, you can rebuild. When you're out of it, the answer actually isn't usually to push harder. The answer is just to fix what you're putting in. What are you adding into your mind? What are you thinking about? For example, so I actually talked about this in the episode with Ace, and I had a partner who I was going to do my podcast with originally. We did the first episode, it just didn't feel right. It didn't flow, and it just felt forced and uncomfortable. So I had to pivot. And instead I decided, you know what? I'm going to put faith in myself and I'm going to go all in and I'm going to do the podcast with me. And it felt so freeing and it felt like the right thing to do. And it allowed me to flow and allowed me to end up interviewing someone just like Ace. Now, let's see. So, with that being said, make sure you simply focus on the fundamentals. Who are you around? What are you feeding yourself? What are you eating? What are your inputs? Framework 3. Oh, I like this. Framework 3, the 4 archetypes decision framework. This is the one from Ace, his quote. When you use all 4 of those parts of your personality, that's when you're in flow. Every hard decision deserves 4 answers, not 1. The warrior says fight. The lover says feel. The sovereign says lead with calm. The magician says use your mind. Most people only run their decisions through one archetype. Use all four. Every one of them have something important they need to tell you. For example, when I was leading a sales team, a banker on my team cuts a corner. The warrior in me, they want to go off. They want to yell at him, figure out why they thought that was a good idea. The sovereign asks if they know what they did. Did they even understand that they were cutting a corner? The lover asks what's going on in their life that they thought they needed to, or that they were paying so little attention they did it anyway. The magician finds that angle that turns the moment into a teaching beat instead of a discipline beat. All four archetypes led to one decision. Framework 4, the first call test. How many leaders out there would a banker call you first, or your employee, would they call you first if they had really great news or really terrible news? If there was a big life event, right? Are you the one they call? The truest measure of leadership is not your team's performance review. It's whether they call you when something real happens. This actually brought me to a story that I told that really still touches me to this day. A banker of mine, he was on vacation, and we had talked about how he had a baby on the way, and it was time he finally just proposed to his wife. We've been talking about it forever, and he just hadn't done it yet. And he swore and promised on this vacation, this is when he was going to pull the trigger. He was going to propose. And it was, I don't even remember what time it was, but it was kind of unreasonable, right? But at the same time, it was a beautiful thing. He called me and he lets me know, he's like, man, I did it. Oh my gosh. Not called, sorry, texted, whatever. Same thing. But he texted me, let me know right away when he did it. 22-year-old kid, got married for the first time, and it's finally here. We're married. And I cried a little. I was like, dang, it's late, but I cried a little. And it made me feel really proud that I was the first one he wanted to reach out to, especially on a Sunday night, right? Framework 5, be whatever they need. Again, framework 5, be whatever your team needs. So this is a quote from Ace. Whatever our client needs to be, we gotta be. Whatever our team member needs to be, we gotta be. Father figure, therapist, attorney. People get confused. They think leadership is some kind of fixed role. It's not. Leadership is always evolving, and people always need you for something different. If you just think that you're this one thing to people, you're probably going to lose them, or you're at least not going to get the loyalty and trust that you want and that you really need to have a successful team. A good example is a banker sat down with me. It was quite a while ago, but they sat down with me and they came in, they were crying, not crying. They came in and they wanted to talk to me about a deal. But before I knew it, they were crying about their marriage and what they were going through and how difficult it was. And I didn't pivot back to the deal, and I wasn't like, all right, well, man, I'm sorry that's happening, but, tell me more about this deal so we can close it. I just talked to them about the marriage. I figured out what was going on. And I figured out how could I help, right? And a lot of it was just listening. A little bit was advice. And what happened was he left the room and he got the deal. But he didn't come back about his marriage, and he didn't come back about the deal because it all worked out, right? But had I focused on the deal, he probably never would have got it. He never would have got his head in the game. He never would have felt right with himself. It took me taking the time to dig a little deeper and be a little bit more than just, hey, you have a goal to hit. This is a framework I love. Framework 6, give it all away. So the quote from Ace, right? I give everything because I want to be forced to learn more. If I gave David everything in this podcast, that means I need to come up with a new everything by tomorrow. Giving away or withholding your best ideas keep you small. Giving them away forces you to build new ones. That's one of the reasons over the years my podcast has done better and better. And now I have guests who reach out to me to be interviewed. And I have a backlog right now and appointments of people that I actually need to interview where I'm just like, I want to actually talk about these old episodes and go into my vault and share all that with you before I even do that. But nevertheless, the only reason it's even gotten that far is because I give everything away, right? Like on my website, I have a book of frameworks that people can use to become better communicators in every aspect of their life. Here, podcast is completely free. Same with all of my streaming platforms. You can get the information anywhere. None of it's locked. None of it's blocked off. It's all free to you. And it's because I want to give it away. Because I want to share it. And the more I give away, the more I have to come up with next week. So, give it all away. Share. Now, Framework 7. 1 personal plus 1 professional. This is the quote from Ace. I've had everyone establish 1 personal goal, 1 professional goal. What do you want to hit? What do you want to accomplish? A lot of the times we misunderstand and we think that it's all about the promotion, the goal. One of the biggest things that impacted me in life was when I understood that everything is everything. When I got in better shape, I became a better communicator and a better speaker. I became more confident in how I talk to people. When I learned more and I studied things, right? I always reference this on my episodes, and I'll keep doing it until the day I die. The Book of the 5 Rings by Miyamoto Musashi. Again, all that book is him talking about how he learned different skills, applied different trades, mastered different things, learned from different people, and it made him the greatest swordsman ever live because he kept growing himself and he kept building himself. The same thing is with the people you lead. You can't just focus on, well, how can I make you a better professional if you never focus on making them a better person? And because it shows you really care. You want to see them succeed more than just in their role. And it's very hard. It's hard to get people there and hard to get them to open up. But if you do get there, and if they do that with you, they'll do anything for you. So do that with your people. And actually around this time, something that I was doing with my team, I had a pretty large team at the time, but I still had each of them give me 1 professional, 1 personal goal, and then I would track both. I would celebrate both. When they accomplished it, I would tell the whole team, and we would clap for them. And we would talk about how important it was. A good example is I had a banker who lost 30 pounds because he had set a weight loss goal, and I was so proud. So we talked about it and we clapped for him the same way we did for the person who got a promotion because it was just as important. We have to celebrate the personal and the professional wins. It's not soft. It's what makes production last. And I may have jumped ahead a little bit because I felt like they kind of blended, right? Framework 8. Everything in life connects. The quote from Ace. Everything in life connects. The food I eat, the way I dress, who I'm hanging out with, the ice bath, the workout, all of those things connect to put you in the flow state. You're not your job. You're not a sleep schedule. You are not your conversations. You're the compound effect of all of them. Treat one as separate and the whole system breaks. Again, goes back to what I was just talking about. As I learned to take care of myself better physically, my entire life started making more sense. It all started working better. I started caring more. I was more observant and noticed more. All of it matters. So we're going to close this out now. Now, it was 8 frameworks, 1 conversation. If there again, as always, is something that you took away from the episode that I missed, please leave it in the comments, share it, let us know so that we can all grow and we can all continue improving. As well, here's the challenge that I want you to do. Pick 1 framework. Pick the one that made you nod the hardest where you're like, oh yes, that cooked. I completely agree, right? Pick that one. Write it down on 5 surfaces by the end of the day. Tell 1 person on your team about it or that you work with or that's close to you in your life. Run it for 7 days. Come back to me. Tell me which one you picked, and I'll read every single comment and I will reply. Now, with that being said, I've enjoyed this time with you all. I look forward to seeing you next week. Let's go out there. Let's succeed. Let's win as always. Thank you, everyone, for watching another episode of Conversations That Count. Sometimes what we find is YouTube will unsubscribe us from our favorite channels, as well as when we finish an episode, we'll have enjoyed it so much, we'll forget to hit the subscribe button because we'll be so caught up with it. My ask is so that we can keep the channel free, so that I can continue bringing you amazing guests, continue bringing you amazing practices that improve all of our skills as we go into every day and every week. If you can hit that subscribe button, if you can like, share, it goes a very long way to, again, keeping the channel free, allowing us to continue providing you amazing content. And my promise is I will only continue to improve the content, improve the guests, and improve the best practices every single time. I will make sure every week and every month that it only gets better for you. So again, thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for watching. And I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.